The word of the week is sectionalism. Welcome to Kenneth O'Neal's Word of the Week. Each week, Kenneth will discuss a word which describes a principle or value of the qualities of success. Use the word of the week in your thoughts, deeds, and actions. You can replace a good habit with a bad habit. You can use it as an action step. Kenneth O'Neal will bring you a word of the week each week, and it will help you to improve your life, your relationships, your professional career, and your overall well-being. I know you'll enjoy Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal. Kenneth O'Neal is a certified Zig Ziglar trainer and the head of O'Neal Consulting in Kerrville, Texas. And now, Kenneth O'Neal.
And we were talking about urgency, we talked about neutrality, and the urgency part came about when we were discussing the fact that the United States of America will be 250 years old next July.
Oh, that's right.
2026.
Yep.
And we're fighting, and that's kind of a strong word, but we're fighting history. The last 21 civilizations have never made it past 200 years.
Wow,
and
that's
here
right.
we are up against 250. So this brings us to the word for this week.
I wish I could do the drum roll.
Because the isms that the previous civilizations have gone past were materialism, atheism, socialism, and alcoholism.
Okay.
And this week we have another ism, and it is sectionalism.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. Tough to say.
Sectionalism, not the same as polarization.
No, not the same.
Okay.
So it's an excessive or narrow-minded concern for the interest of one's own region, one's own group, or a section of a nation rather than the whole nation.
Like Texas versus the whole United States. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Or Kerrville versus,
So it does reflect the loyalty to a part at the expense of the unity. It is simply, if you look at it from a simple standpoint, it says, my side above our shared good. The word comes from, of course, the word section, meaning a dividing or a cutting up. And combined with ism, it denotes a system of a practice or a belief system. It began in American political discourse in the early 1800s, and it was a growing division between the North and the South over economic models, slavery, of course, and political power. So that was happening in the early 1800s. So this would be the pre-Civil War time, early 1800s up to 1861, and it was Northern industrialism versus the Southern agriculture. All right.
I wonder if this kind of thing happens around the world too, or we just see it here in the United States.
Worldwide.
But those are examples.
When we talked about polarization, we were talking about the things, that had taken place over the many years. In 1600 years ago, polarization actually started with the Protestant Reformation. Yes. So here we are. There was the Missouri Compromise in 1820 and the Kansas-Nebraska in 1854, and that began to show the regional interest which outweighed the national unity. And it, of course, culminated in the Civil War from 1861 to 1865, which actually it was the most violent expression of sectional conflict in United States history. Even after slavery ended, there was a lot of distrust among people that continued in politics, race relations, and the economics. And all of that distrust and everything actually slowed down the nation's healing from the war. In other words, we could have probably taken care of cleaning up everything a lot faster if there had not been such distrust. And you were talking about, is this a worldwide thing? And some other examples would be, in 1947, India partitioned itself between the Hindus and the Muslims. Then in Yugoslavia, there were several ethnic civil wars.
I see.
And then the big one that we're all familiar with, because it happened actually in this time period with what was, you remember the term Brexit, B-R-E-X-I-T?
No, that one I don't.
Brexit was where the United Kingdom broke away from the European Union, the
Okay.
European Union that everybody
okay.
was in.
Okay.
So we've had sectional, for quite some time. And what it does, you can look at it from a positive standpoint where you say the regional pride of a local identity, where, like in experiment with different solutions, community loyalty, and belonging. In other words, that idea is very good. But there's some dangerous negatives that can happen. And that's, Zig Ziglar said that it is not negative to identify a problem. Not negative to identify it, because
Sure.
that's positive, because you can't do anything until you recognize there
what
is
it
a challenge
Right,
going
right.
on.
Name it, claim it.
That's right. So some of these dangerous negatives, it breeds division, mistrust, and conflict, which overall weakens the national unity and creates conflict. And you talked about it earlier. We've got political polarization, which is the modern arm of sectionalism, really, because of the ideology over geography. And this is what we were talking about the urgency, and that we've got to go back to our moral standard, all right? Because I don't believe that America, the United States of America, is going to go down like the Roman Empire did, but I think there's going to be a change.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that the change could be sectionalism. All right? It potentially, at least, could be a warning sign before we get to renewal. So how can we have that? And I think I have come up, we are deeply today through sectional, very much. So we have the urban versus rural,
Sure.
red versus blue,
Dodgers versus
Toronto. I'm
been
glad
thinking
you brought
about
in
that.
that laughter. It
Okay.
helps. We've got faith-based
Yeah.
versus secular.
Yeah.
We've got the elite versus the working class.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ideology here, and it kind of mirrors, I just talked a minute ago about pre-Civil War
Yeah,
attitude.
it's
So
interesting.
that's kind of where we are today, because we're being divided more than uniting. And so I think I have, as we finish up here, I want to give a quick summary of what I believe we need to come to what I'm calling reconciliation.
Okay.
All right.
Is that kind of the opposite then of sectionalism? That's a mouthful.
Okay, that's a mouthful. We're
Yeah.
going to try to get away from that.
Yeah,
But we
okay.
need leaders. See, leaders should take the responsibility to create an atmosphere so that their team members, the people in their group, the people in their community, that everyone there has the opportunity to become the best version of themselves. So leaders must be courageous. They must have humility and empathy. And they've got to have the grace to rise, to put the country before their camp. All right? We got to get back, and I think the sectionalism could become the catalyst for a new national conversation that will rebuild trust, give honor, recognize differences, and reclaim unity. And I use the word without uniformity. Now, real quick, here's my whole answer to this.
All right.
So we talk about the commitment of leadership.
Okay.
We will tell the truth without fear, acknowledge the truth. We will repair harm and redress it and pay for it. Build a shared future where we have dignity, we give opportunity, we give hope and encouragement, but we hold people accountable. So this is going to take some really strong leaders. And the guiding virtues, and these are all mine. You don't have to agree with them. But it comes from where I do this keynote address on gumption, grit, guts, and grace.
You know me in alliteration. I love that stuff.
Yeah, you and I are on the same plate.
So
right
what are those again? Gumption?
Okay, I'm getting ready to go back over them because I'm going to tell you what each one of them means. So gumption, that is where you act. It's action. It's initiative. And you're decisive in a world of integrity. Initiative and being decisive in the decisions that you make. Grit is where you stay committed through discomfort. Another word for that is resilience.
Yes.
The long haul. Guts, that is your intestinal fortitude. That's your major compass.
Yeah.
All right? And what you're doing, you're speaking truth. It's in love for other people. It's concern and care for other people. And then grace, of course, is the restoration. Give grace. Restoration. And it does not mean retribution. So the American concept of reconciliation is very complicated. And we have a history of division, injustice, and difficult narratives. So that's why we need leaders, boldness and courageous. And they've got to have, you've got to have hope and encouragement that tomorrow, next week, next month is going to be better. We've always got to have that hope and looking for that. And we can have that hope, but we've got to come together. And I said the first step is to acknowledge truth, and that is really tough because we've got truth, the small, lowercase truths. There's a lot of truths.
Yeah, my truth, your
my
truth.
Your truth.
Yeah. What about the truth?
Right. Tomorrow, the truth is tomorrow will be Tuesday.
Hope.
Okay. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
1 + 1 = 2, you know.
But the big T, the big capital T, the truth of the Creator.
Yeah.
That is the one. And one of the significant problems we have is that a lot of people, you ask them, who are they? I'm a baker, I'm a mechanic.
Sure.
I'm a coach.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. And so we create or we build our identity. And what we need to do is to accept our identity.
Nice.
It's a gift. It's a gift. And if we accept it and increase our good morality and let Him guide us, we can come to reconciliation.
I like that. Yep.
I'd love to have a conversation with some people about these words that we've had the last couple of weeks.
They've been great. Sectionalism, polarization. Remind me some other ones.
Neutrality. I love that word, neutrality. We cannot be in the middle here we've got to stand for family and community and the nation.
Right. Yeah.
So they can call me,
Where can they do that?
830, that's in the hill country of Texas, 830-285-7010, or send me a email.
Nice.
Of course, they can text me at that number.
At the other number.
But
Okay.
the email is merger@windstream.net. And if they want to know a little bit about what we believe, what we stand for, and why we do this, they could check the website,
There you go.
O'Neal, KRONEAL.com. Very easy. It's my first and second initial in my last name. All right.
Great.
So
Thank
let's have
you.
a great week.
Yes.
Let's,
Use this word during the week, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Let's
Understand
think
it.
about the impact.
Yeah.
And some people need to step up and do this because, they're being called. And some things that people are called to do, if they don't do them, they won't get done.
That's right. That's right. So you're called to help against the sectionalism. There we go. Say all the syllables. Thank you so much, Kenneth. It's been great to have you back in the studio.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again and hear you again next week.
Next Monday.
Next
Yes, thank
yep.
you.
Thank you.
This is Tom Fox. I'm a co-founder of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast and you would like to talk to us about getting your own podcast on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, we'd love to talk to you. So you can reach us at our website, through our website, the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal is our latest podcast, and we will present Kenneth's word each week going forward. They will be insightful, they will be useful, they will be important, and can be a significant increase of all aspects of your life going forward. I hope you'll subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening.